Ladies and gentlemen, grab your gloves and get your compost ready. Stepping into the ring is the perennial powerhouse, the sultan of soil, the beast of the beds, where permaculture reigns, food grows wild, community roots run deep, and yes, the garden puns hit hard. Freedom starts in the soil. This is the Guerrilla Gardening Show.
Welcome back to the Guerrilla Gardening Show. My name is Mike, back as always with my man Sam from Central Florida Abundance. What's happening, Sam?
Taking it easy, Mike. How you doing today?
Yeah, 97 degrees out there. We should all be taking it easy. So we didn't get to this last week, but that's okay. I just went ahead and did it anyway. But I'm excited to share my new strawberry tree, the Jamaican cherry. I don't know if you remember the first one, went in the pool, didn't do so well, didn't quite survive that great after that. It did survive maybe another 6 months, but just kind of dwindled away. It was root bound, and
You said it went in the pool, like in a pot. It fell in the pool.
yeah, I had it maybe a few days, and we
Ooh.
had I don't know if it was a hurricane or a windstorm, and the next morning I went out and it was floating in the pool.
You have a chlorinated pool? I mean,
Yeah,
even a salt pool would be
yeah,
bad.
I got a chlorinated pool. So
If it was
I
a
mean,
salt pool, it probably would have killed it instantly. So
I mean, I watered the hell out of it for days to try and flush out any of those toxins.
that's the best thing you can do. But sometimes,
Yeah,
so you went ahead and replaced it.
yeah. So now we have the newest, latest, and greatest.
Did I see this? Have I seen this tree before? I don't remember a Jamaican cherry in your yard.
No, this thing is probably less than a month old as far as when I got it.
Yeah, well, you planted it like a month ago.
Yep. And
We talked about bird food in a previous video, and I think this, you mentioned using this to feed the birds, and I think that's going to be great. Those red berries all over that. Is it a red one or a
it's a
yellow
red one.
one?
Yep.
There are two different types, guys. So
Yeah.
the red one tastes like cotton candy. I think everyone will agree on that. The yellow one, to me, tastes like popcorn.
Hmm.
It tastes like buttered popcorn.
Okay.
Uh, and I've heard that from a couple people, but most people think I'm odd. Yeah, you'll have to taste mine and you let me know.
So I've kind of been saving this spot here. This is it here with the red
Yeah.
clips. This is in between my garden beds and my trellis tunnel. It's kind of one of the few spots I actually have left for a tree of this size.
They do get very big.
And part of the plan is I know it's going to get big. I can try and prune it to my advantage if it will let me, but I think it will provide some shade behind it.
Oh yeah. They make
And
the best shade trees. You can
okay.
make like the perfect umbrella canopy out of them, and they kind of just do it on their own. It's a great tree to hang out under. And
So
I
it
mean, this
has,
one looks great.
yeah, this is about 4 to 5 feet in a radius around it where there is nothing. I mean, technically right now there's watermelons growing on the ground, but
Well, what was the pot size on this? Like a 10, 15 gallon?
yeah, it was in about a 10 gallon. So just kind of,
It's mature enough to fruit then.
oh, I'm
Yard's
getting
looking
fruits.
great.
I'm getting fruits off it already. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a you can kind of see the size of the root ball there.
Okay.
Now, one of the questions I did have, Sam, and you see me kind of showing where the edge of that root ball is. When I've kind of heard a couple different conflicting things, maybe you can clarify. When you take a tree or plant out of its pot and you're putting it in the ground, some people say you want to tease the roots and kind of open them up so that when they're in the ground, they have a better chance of expanding. And some people say you don't really want to do that because it can obviously disturb the roots, shock the roots. So what, maybe it's nuanced, but what,
It's definitely nuanced. Both of those people are right. Whoever
okay,
told you, both of those things. So it really depends on the plant and the situation.
okay,
Um, and everybody's going to be a little bit different with how they do things. My way, if I'm planting a long-term perennial plant, like this strawberry tree here, it's meant to have very wide-reaching roots. And so if I were to take it out of the pot and see that the roots had started to curve around that pot edge, I would loosen them up, because if they've already made that curve, then they're going to continue to have that, and that's going to weaken the stability of the tree. So, sometimes with like long-term stuff, it's all about the long term. So I'll even, if it's really bad, you can prune the root system and reset it. That's gonna, shock the tree, but if it makes it through that, it's gonna be a lot healthier in the long term. We're talking 50 to 100 years from now. Now, the strawberry tree, that's a like middle term. They'll maybe stick around for 20 or 30 years before they get too fragile and break apart. But still, on our time scale, it's pretty long term. When I'm growing annuals, if it's like a one season plant, you think like wildflowers, veggies, you know, ideally you don't want them to be root bound when you plant them, but if you're buying from nurseries, sometimes they will be. And in that case, I don't disturb those roots, because, since that plant's only going to live for maybe a year or two, that disturbance is really going to set it back in the beginning. So for this tree, for trees in general, making sure that it has good shaped, well structured roots from the beginning is really important. Um, so, if they're not too bad, teasing them out, just getting some of that soil off the tips. If you can expose the tips of the roots, uh, and then, bury them in the native, uh, the soil that's there in your yard already, they're going to, you know, continue to expand through that soil. Whereas in some cases, if you, leave them in the good potting soil that they were in, especially if it, recently fertilized or whatever, they can stay there. So even if they're not in the pot anymore, the roots will curve back into that really good potting soil. So sometimes it's, best with trees and long-term stuff to remove all of the potting soil before putting it in the ground. Now with a strawberry tree, that is I would say a weedy tree, and by that I mean hardy, fast growing, and hard to kill, unless it falls in a pool.
yeah,
So, it's really hard to go wrong with this tree.
okay.
You can kind of just throw it in the ground and it's gonna go. But you know, for more uh sensitive trees, things that take longer to fruit, things that grow slower, take that time and take care of the roots.
All right, yeah, that's a good lesson because I wouldn't say they were wound super tight, but I did the hole's probably as big as these bricks here.
Okay.
And then I'm planning on bringing in another layer of wood chips soon. So I wanted to make sure that this root system was higher than the ground is now, so that when the wood chips come in, it's not lower than the wood chips, or even with the wood chips, this will still be a few inches higher.
I was going to ask you about that because I see that it's high, and it's not really like crazy high or anything.
Yeah.
But if you are planning on piling wood chips around here, then that makes perfect sense, because those wood chips, I mean, they break down and then they'll raise that soil level really. And this can be, planting high can be a good technique if you're in really wet places or your soil's really loose, because you dug a huge hole. When you dug it out, it was the area of the bricks inside. How deep was it compared to the root ball?
I mean, if the root ball was, let's say, a foot, maybe 18 inches, so maybe another 6, maybe nine
Like
inches.
half the size of the root ball down. So
Yeah,
you've got loose soil under there.
yeah. So it might
And
settle a little bit.
yeah, the
Yeah.
only time, you know, it can be good to plant in a basin, like the opposite of what you have. You would never want to pile the soil up on the stem, but you could plant the tree, in a divot where, the ground bowls out. And that's really beneficial for very dry climates because then all of the water will, come down to where the roots are. But that's another one of those things. Some people will tell you to plant low, people will tell you to plant high, and it really just depends on, what you're planting and where you're planting it, and, a lot of nuance, like you said.
I'm usually high when I plant, but and my process with these bricks here is when I water, it's kind of holding it all in because of how I set up the bricks and around the plant. But eventually, I'm just going to pull it away. This is really just temporary to kind of establish a zone for the water to stay trapped until eventually, like you said, the wood chips just raise the level of the soil, and then it'll just be a tree on its own. Now,
Yeah.
one thing that I wanted to, I pulled a couple nice red, juicy, sweet ones on there. Sam, should I cut this off? This little dead uh,
Yeah.
branch up top? Yeah, just trim that off. Yeah, you can see that there.
Any tree, if you have dead or diseased branches, if you have branches growing in towards the center of the tree, or if you have branches growing straight down, those are things that just need to come off. It's wasted energy on the tree's part. Um, when you do prune it, just like any plant, make sure you got sharp and sterile tools so that you're not transferring disease. Um, and with the strawberry tree, now is the time to start thinking about how you want it to be shaped in the long term, because the way you prune it now is going to, really set the standard for how it goes out. And I mean, it's already been pruned. It looks like potentially it was, topped at some point and it split. Um,
Yeah, I was going to ask
but
you, is this something that can be topped again, or is that not typically recommended?
they're really they recover very easily from pruning. It's not like a mulberry necessarily, but I mean, you can easily take 50% of the foliage off and have the plant recover just fine.
Okay.
Um, so, it's a great tree to practice pruning on because it grows so quickly and you can, see the fruits of your effort, so to speak.
I mean, pretty much every day I've been going out and grabbing 2 or 3 red cherries. So,
Yeah, this tree right here, I mean, really in Central Florida will fruit 10 months out of the year.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's what I mean, what makes it a great bird food because it's always available for them. But it also, I think this is a tree that should be planted over like every playground in America. Well, that's not true. In Central and South Florida, the rest of the US couldn't handle them because of the freezes. But, it creates a beautiful shade and it's always got, easy to pick edible fruit on it. And it's pretty easy to manage. I will say they're they have a slightly invasive potential.
Okay.
Their seeds germinate super easily. And so, they will start popping up around your yard in places you don't mow. And sometimes, and hopefully somebody can, maybe shine some light on this. But what I've observed is that they will spread by runners. So you'll get other shoots popping up, a couple feet away from the main trunk that are still connected to that main trunk, and they can be cut down. It's not so prolific that
Can
You
they
know,
be
it's gonna.
propagated?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The runners, I've never tried. But the seedlings, I mean, you could take one of those berries and shove it in some dirt, and you're gonna have a bunch of seedlings pop up.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. So, it's
It's
a great tree
funny.
to propagate.
It's funny you say that. If you look at my neighbor's house here, the brown house, and right to
Hmm.
the left of my house, you see like the top of a tree.
Hmm.
That's like a holly oak tree or something. I forget what it is. Type of holly tree. That has runners 10 feet away, 12 feet away. Um,
Oh, it's probably a scrub oak. It's got like
okay.
pointy leaves on it,
Yeah, pretty much. It's I want to say it does have like some type of berry on it, but it's not an
like
edible.
a
Yeah,
red berry. Huh.
yeah,
Maybe it is a holly.
yeah.
Huh.
It actually
It's
came
huge.
down in a hurricane, and luckily it kicked open the fence gate and did absolutely nothing to any of the. I think it damaged the dragon fruit that was growing up the pull-up bar, but I mean
Hmm.
that was a 20-25 foot tree that snapped in half, completely missed the house, missed everything. So I was lucky on that one. But
Bless.
this I need to share, Sam, because I think this is important for people to see, and I think will help, especially myself. So the way these people had this tree growing, if you look, there's crisscross branches here.
Hmm. I see that.
And so they're touching. Lots of them are touching.
Yeah, that's what one of the things I just said. We got to cut those off
Yeah.
unless they have
So
a reason for it. Or no,
now,
this is your tree.
yeah, I think they
Okay.
just, it probably sat in an orchard or sat in a backyard. And then by the time someone paid too much attention to it, um, that's how it ended up. But
Yeah. I mean, the
uh,
nurseries don't really prune for long-term health. I mean, they have too much to worry about. That's our responsibility. So, yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about it, you're totally right. You should never have any plant material touching. Leaves should not be on top of leaves. Branches should not be rubbing branches. That's just going to cause damage to the plant.
now I have two separate posts kind of pulling it away. And I don't know if this is like, when you get braces on your teeth, it helps straighten your teeth out over a course of however long. But I mean, I do want to prune, but I wasn't sure if that's something that over time would slowly pull them apart.
So the post won't, but you could put the posts on the outside and tie the branches so that, they're not touching, or at least as far as they will go, and then
Okay.
slowly tighten those over time. And that will get it to grow straighter and, might keep those branches off each other. Is that like two main trunks you want to save?
It's two main chunks, yeah. But I mean, if I have to, yeah, it's a nice juicy one. If I have to, knowing that it should grow back pretty easily, I'm less concerned than I was.
There's only one main trunk, and then it just has like a big split in the middle. Like,
Yeah, I wonder if they had topped it a long time ago, and then this is just
yeah,
how it.
really, that looks like they were turning the pot kind of thing. Like they were, rotating it, so it just kept chasing the sun in different directions.
Okay,
Uh, but yeah, I mean,
I may do that. I'll do some pruning and then put some posts a little further out, try and pull them back a little bit.
yeah, because it really that's the split you want. You just normally those
Yeah,
branches would never come back across each other. So if you can fix that, and I mean, and when you got plants you really care about, there's a lot of things you can do. So, put the TLC into it and think you could get those things a little bit better for sure.
awesome, great. Well, uh, anything we didn't talk about on the The strawberry tree,
or
but is it
Jamaican
really
cherry.
the Jamaican cherry? Yeah, I'm not sure which one it actually is, but
Oh, hold on. It's both of those things, but I
okay.
have the Latin name. Uh, and I feel like that's necessary because there's too many common names for this thing.
I have it up here to
Mon. Oh man, here's my
Mon.
Latin.
I'll say it so that I sound
Okay,
silly. Okay.
okay,
Um, Muntingia.
that's right.
Muntingia.
Calubora, Muntingia calubora. That's specifically. There's a lot of Muntingias. That's the genus,
Okay.
but the species is Calubora. So there's not many things that are marketed as strawberry trees that aren't. The things to know, it's called the strawberry tree and the Jamaican cherry. It is not a strawberry or a cherry. It
Yeah.
is a completely different fruit. So,
Yeah.
lose that confusion. But other than that, it's a great tree to get in your yard, start your food forest with, and then, let it propagate itself out. Plant some at the community park.
Oh, now that I know it's that easily propagatable, especially with how you said those seeds can just I'm gonna start putting them everywhere. So
Yeah.
now today, Sam, I'd like to share our good friend Pablo from Eco Hustle, your new neighbor.
My new neighbor and the source of all my bokashi compost.
Yes. On the Mike's in the Garden channel, you can head back for a few videos and check out a presentation that Pablo did for me personally, but technically for the world to see on YouTube here. And amazing stuff. I can definitely attribute my watermelons that have been thriving this year because they came out of the bed that we put the bokashi in. That was also the watermelon that I transplanted from my Ganepa tree. So not only did I transplant a watermelon plant, but it gave me two fat, juicy, one was 15 and one was 18-pound watermelon so far. And you couldn't really see it in the video with the Jamaican cherry, but there's a couple smaller than golf ball size, 3 or 4 watermelons that are still working their way out. So
Nice. I
excited
saw the
about that.
vine. It looked real healthy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the bokashi, I mean, you know, bokashi is its own thing. Pablo has really just done the science. You can see it on his channel. He
Yeah.
posts the research that he does. He
Yeah.
experiments with this stuff. And so, to learn how to do it, because that's the other thing. You don't buy, well, I mean, you can buy from him, but bokashi is really a style of composting that you do yourself, and he teaches you how to do it. And he's already, gone through all the trials and tribulations. So then you can just throw your stuff in a bucket and have it be good.
Yeah. It's awesome. I can 100% attribute a lot of the success in a couple of the beds I have out there that we put the bokashi in to the bokashi compost. So
Yeah,
uh,
I use it all over the farm. I mean, all the beds I start with bokashi, and I mean, I see the difference from, before, and I can't imagine. I look for more ways to integrate bokashi into the garden. So stay tuned, follow Pablo, and you're gonna revolutionize your garden. He also does worm count composting. It's not just bokashi. He's really just a uh, you know, eco environmental uh business, eco hustle. How do
yeah,
you earn money from from saving the world, basically?
for sure. Awesome.
Yeah,
Sam,
that's great.
tell everybody where they can find more of you and your consulting services with Central Florida Abundance.
Yeah, you can check out Central Florida Abundance here on YouTube. If you're watching it on my channel, that's great. If you're not, come on over. I've got some other videos from our farm and some projects. If you want a consultation, you can reach out on Instagram or Facebook. And if you want to buy some produce in Polk County, check out the Igo Family Farm. What about you, Mike? Where you at?
Mike's in the Garden, pretty much everywhere. Search for it. I don't need to do too many plugs, but if you want to get some fresh gear, if you're high from Florida and you want to represent cannabis
gotta
culture
plant
here,
high.
you
High
gotta do
and
it.
dry.
You know, there's lows and there's highs, baby. But you too can enjoy one of these shirts by checking out the Etsy shop at the link below, or you can just